then, now. Welcome to Monday, but it's in Saudi. And it was a pre-taped episode. Now, thankfully, I didn't see any spoilers, which is great. I love the wrestling community sometimes. Now, I know this video is very late, but the show did have so many highlights, I gotta talk about it, man. The reason I didn't upload for a few days, and my crown jewel didn't have a camera, well, I had a forehead problem. It got infected or something. This right here, it was like this huge. This huge right here. At the end of the day, you're watching these videos for the forehead, and I couldn't let you see me like this, man. I was basically a mascot for the New Day. It honestly looked like it was about to pop at any moment. I did like the atmosphere of the show. It felt big. Some of it felt like it was a house show. That's mainly due to the matches. But what's weird about the WWE is that even though I'm not watching Raw and SmackDown live anyway, I could still feel it like this was pre-taped. I don't know what it is about these shows, but you can feel it when it's not live and you don't really expect to see something you shouldn't expect, which sucks. I want to see the unplanned shit, right? One thing we found out on this show is that Liv is going to get a new challenger. Jade, Cargill, and Bianca Belair were the contenders. We got a fight, and Adam Pearce basically said, since you got Rhea Ripley injured, we're going to get a battle royal to determine the #1 contender. So we got a bunch of women in the ring, gigantic Raw logo. Again, this show did feel different. The balls on this man again. I can't stress this enough. I can't stress these balls enough. He booked a 59,000 women match in Saudi, and whoever is making attires for the WWE, holy shit. I sincerely hope you got paid really well that night. A lot of costumes, man. You gotta dress everybody like Batman in this bitch, so props to you. The match itself was pretty fine, and the crowd actually reacted, so I'm happy, you know, that it's different than it was in like 2019, right? I appreciate that. The match itself was fine. Obviously, Liv Morgan interfered, making sure that, you know, someone like Jade and Bianca are not gonna win, because they're the biggest threats to the World Championship title reign. The final two were Valkyria and Io Sky, and Io Sky won the match, which is great. I remember one time I said, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, that's so random, but now I get the vision, man. I get the vision. So I wouldn't necessarily be mad if Io Sky would win that champion. I would be happy, you know. It's not gonna happen yet, but eventually I think, unless WWE are gonna drag the story until WrestleMania, because obviously we're going to get a second big Rhea Ripley return, and then it's gonna be a Rhea versus Liv again. I'm over the story kinda, so I'm not that excited, but, you know, maybe Io Sky is gonna win that championship before Rhea Ripley is going to make her return, or, you know, at least until WrestleMania, and then we're going to get this kind of a dream match at this point, one of the biggest women's matches we could get. What I really liked about this show is this Miz segment. So basically, I completely forgot about this. I was like, why are they attacking the Miz? Turns out they're not even targeting the Final Testament. No testicles were attacked. That was not the point. The attack is on the Miz because the B-Team, I completely forgot about this group. B-Team, B-Team, go, go, go. B-Team, B-Team, a push? No. God, that was awful. So basically, the Miz got kidnapped. I guess the whole point being the B-Team were the Miz's family and he abandoned them. I like this. I like that we finally got the answer. And, I don't know what it is about it. I'm actually excited about The Miz versus the Wyatt Six. And The Miz is a heel in this situation, even though he got kidnapped, and wrestling's so freaking weird. We got the New Day versus the War Raiders, which was a pretty decent match. Didn't mean a whole lot, but when it comes to the story, Xavier Woods ate the pin, and now Kofi is mad. You know, we're building this rivalry. What I don't understand about Triple H is that sometimes he builds shit, and then it seems like, I know he doesn't forget about it, but then he just drags it for such a long time. This is not gonna be that way, I don't feel like. You know, it's kind of dragging at this point. And this is kind of a different topic, but let's take Austin Theory, for example. Austin Theory was supposed to turn babyface, we're waiting for it, and we don't even see them on television anymore. It's like we're getting excited about something, and then Triple H gets cold feet. Which sucks. The absolute highlight of the show was the bloodline segment. Sami Zayn talked about helping the Usos. Jey Uso finally embraced Sami again, called him a brother, but Jimmy Uso doesn't want anything to do with Sami. He blames Sami for everything. You're not family. Sami reminds Jimmy Uso of all the shit he's done, and Sami also said, I want nothing to do with this. They also talked about their history, about how Sami felt like it's the good old days again, right? But Jey doesn't let Sami leave without saying this. In this ring, I see Jimmy Uso, I see Jey Uso, and I see Sami Uso. And we also got a bit of a cliffhanger to watch SmackDown because Jey Uso said, why don't you come to SmackDown and we all talk about this? You know, Jade, Jimmy, Sami, and Roman Reigns. So that's gonna be really interesting. Can't wait for that shit. Like, that's the peak SmackDown of the modern WWE era. So I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. Like, obviously, Sami and Roman, nothing in common anymore. So eventually we did get exactly what we wanted. Sami helping the bloodline because of Jey Uso. And now it makes sense. But WWE definitely did it in a better way than I thought they would. Dragon Lee vs Chad Gable was a pretty controversial match if you looked at social media, because the match itself was really fun, right? But here comes the keyboard warriors. This match had a lot of no-sells, right? So if this happened in AEW, you would complain. This match sucked. This was the greatest match of all this shit, right? And of course, Chad Gable lost, which I feel like sucks. That was my biggest problem. Chad Gable resigned with the WWE. We were like, oh my god, he's gonna be so big in the WWE right now. He's gonna be the Intercontinental Champion, and he keeps losing all this shit. And this faction so far seems like a joke in my opinion. So, let me put it this way. I would absolutely hate it if we would get shit like this in every match. But when it comes to WWE fans, we are not numb to stuff like this. We're not used to it. So when we see it, we're like, okay, that was pretty cool. When that ridiculous no-sell shit happens, which is kind of ridiculous in a way, it's not that usual to us. We can take it. If I would see that shit in almost every single match on a random episode of Raw, I would absolutely hate it. Well, I guess I'm trying to explain why people have different reactions to these kind of matches. Gunther actually cut a babyface promo. Ludwig talked about how it was unfair, and Gunther basically said, no, Cody was the better man. He looked at Ludwig like, you didn't do a really good job with Sheamus, did you? Sheamus is gonna be in the #1 Contenders match. So we got the match, right? Sheamus, Dominic, Damian, Rollins. And this was a really fun match, and honestly, am I going crazy? Am I going mad? Do I need my YouTube channel being taken? Do I need to stop making videos? People, I was rooting for Dominic Mysterio for the most part. I was like, this is gonna be a fun match. We've seen it already, but come on. This is all filler anyway. You know, Gunther is going to retain. Okay, look, we got the match, fun, we got Bronson Reed taking people out, for the most part Seth Rollins, so Seth is not gonna win this match, which protects Seth Rollins, and you know, builds this rivalry even more. It's gonna continue, and hopefully Bronson Reed is going to get that W this time around. We were left with Dominic versus Damian Priest. Pretty cool finish. He catches Dominic into his finisher, and now it's gonna be Damian Priest versus Gunther, the least exciting match out of these, just my opinion. Already seen it. It was alright, but Gunther versus Sheamus, we already seen it, I know, but bangers. Every single match was a banger. Would love to see that. Again, all of these are fillers anyway. Give us some good shit. I would have loved that. Dominic versus Gunther, fun. Really fun. Gunther versus Seth Rollins, I know why they didn't do it, obviously, but again, I would prefer that. And I'm not saying Damian is worse than any of these talent. That's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm just saying in this situation, it's the least interesting match. But that was your episode of Raw. Thank you so much for watching this video. Check out more of these videos. Like, subscribe if you already didn't. The Great One, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.